Hello and welcome back to Serendipity Intended. My name is Tracy Ann. I am so glad that you are here. It is time for another day in the Junk Journal July 2026 challenge. It is the 24th of July, so let's take a look and see what we have on tap for today. So the prompt for the 24th is everyday life. And gosh, I could have gone in a whole bunch of directions with this. But let me show you our page and then talk a little bit about kind of where I was going with this. So the month of July is a favorite one for me. It is, as a teacher or librarian, we are not in school, so I don't have to go to work every single day. There's still a lot of work that I do, so I don't think of it as really having my summers off. I think of it more as having my summers not in school. But one of the reasons that I really do love the month of July is because I get to do this challenge, and I can do it unencumbered by the demands of having to go to school and plan lessons and grade papers and take care of all of those responsibilities. And so my everyday life looks a little bit different in the summer, particularly in the month of July, than it does at other times of the year. And I thought that that was a really good jumping off place for the prompt for today. So I grabbed a few things that I have over here. The first thing I need to do, I've paper clipped this image on here, and for now I'm going to unpaper clip it because I need to work on this side and I don't want the paper clip in the way. So I am going to go through with this distress ink and do the outer edge of this page. And that is mostly because when I printed this, I printed it with a border, and I decided not to trim the border off, just to leave it there. But what that's meant is that it's sort of left me with this white border that I don't particularly like. So I'm just going around and putting a little bit of ink. It's not completely hiding the border, but it's toning it down a bit. It's a lot less obvious than it was, which was really my goal. So as I was thinking about what does everyday life look like in July, and for me, it's definitely a time when I do a lot of my junk journaling, and also when I have an opportunity to post videos regularly to my channel. And so I thought one thing that would be appropriate for me in terms of everyday life was to have something here that represented my channel. And so I took the image that I use as my profile image on my YouTube channel, and I'm gonna use this on my page. This is actually a photo that I took of a flower that I then used a tool. I don't even remember how I did this because I did it probably 10, 15 years ago, but I used a tool to sort of make it like a kaleidoscope, and then I sectioned off a piece of it. And that is the graphic on my YouTube channel. So I thought I could use that on the page. I am going to tear the icky white border off here, and I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom. And I think actually I don't mind the white there. And so I'm just gonna, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna glue this down onto my page. Now, as I was adding the glue to glue this down, it occurred to me that I should share the one thought that I had in thinking about this page besides the prompt. I wanted to keep it fairly simple with a lot of negative space. And there are a couple reasons for that. One, I wanted to make sure I had some room to do some journaling. Two, this side is super busy, and I didn't want the other side to be as busy and kind of take away from this. So I thought it would be nice if there was some space between what I did over here and this page. And also because, as you can see, this is already starting to get pretty chunky, and we're only on the 24th of July. So I still have 7 days of prompts to go in this journal. And then I have some pages in the back that I won't be using for Junk Journal July, but I will be using for August for my vacation. And I need to save some space in this journal to accommodate that. And so I wanted to keep things fairly lightweight. So item number 1, representing everyday life, is just an image that captures my channel and also represents all of the journaling that I do on a daily basis, at least over the summer. Then I found in my stash, so this is from back in the day when Smashbooks were a thing. It's just a little doodad that came with one of my Smashbook kits, but it had some guilty pleasures, and to be honest, a few of these do apply to me. So I thought that it could be fun to include this in the page as well, and acknowledge some of my guilty pleasures that I indulge in. And then just a little snippet that I thought color-wise worked with this, and maybe a little bit of this lace that I've used on another page. And then as a focal point, I thought this butterfly was absolutely gorgeous, and I thought the colors just really worked pretty together. So I'm just going to do ever so little amount of layering with these things, and kind of see what I end up with for a page. So I hope you enjoy watching me play just a little bit. Right, that turned out really nicely. The water gave me some control with the water brush around where I ended up tearing, but then the tearing sort of softened the edges a bit, and which I love doing. All right, so now let's bring this back in and figure out exactly how we're going to layer everything. So I'm thinking maybe just like so. Of course, then I lose the maybe if I turn it this way. Yeah, that's sort of fun. So we can still see some of the guilty pleasures. Yeah, so you get the idea of the guilty pleasures, but you don't necessarily have to look at them all. Yeah, I think that's gonna work. All right, So, guess we'll start gluing from the bottom down. I'm gonna leave the bottom edge of this alone. Because I'm using fabric for one layer of this, I'm just gonna go ahead and use my Fabri-Tac for all of it. You can use Fabri-Tac on paper, it certainly works, but it's ideal for gluing fabric down, and since I do have this little bit here, I want to make sure that it gets glued properly. So go ahead, and I don't need a lot. And I'm gonna go ahead and put that fairly close to the top. And then I think what I'm gonna do is figure out where all of these items need to be. I'm realizing this is gonna have to overlap onto the page a little bit, and that this will come down, and then, so that needs to be pretty much even with the top. All right, so let's grab the glue, and where is my little bit of wax paper? The last thing I need to do is get glue on my page. All right, so the first thing I'm gonna do is use the Fabri-Tac to glue this snippet onto the Guilty Pleasures item. And we'll go ahead and do that right like that. And then I feel like I need to glue this a little bit more than I did. Let me put just a teeny bit more glue down. I'm still gonna leave the bottom open, but we'll let that be. Right, and then so that it lands where I want it to land, I think we'll glue this just above, or glue this down just above here. So definitely do the top here, and maybe along the edge just a little bit. Like so. And then I think for this, I'm not going to use the Fabri-Tac, just because I want a little more coverage on this. It's got to overlap, yikes, it's got to overlap that page, and I'm worried about overlapping the page, and it's actually sort of 2 pages that it's overlapping. So I'm gonna use this because I can get a little better coverage with it. Yeah, that's okay. And you can see it sits in there, and then it overlaps this page a bit. So once it dries, I'll have to trim it so that I can open this page. But there we go. And while that dries, let me grab, no, I'm gonna use my 005 micron this go around. Oh, this pen just isn't working. I think I need a new one. Use the 01, it's closer. I'm just gonna go around the butterfly wings, just the wings, really loosely. Give it a little bit of a sense of movement, and then maybe just a little bit down there. All right, so definitely chocolate is a guilty pleasure. Social media is a guilty pleasure. Now, I do like true crime, but I'm not really a reality TV fan, so I'll say no on that one. I don't remember what was underneath, but I'm going to circle no on that just to kind of let that be there. And then I also think, just for one additional layer of texture, I'm going to bend here and then bend again, and then I'll use my just a little bit of extra layer of texture here on the page, and all that I have left to do is my label. And I did that with my label maker, and I think I'm just gonna tuck that, well, I thought I was gonna tuck it up there, but I don't think I like it. I think I'll just set it down here at the bottom, maybe this way. I kind of like it down there. The cutter did not put the little cutting tab that it normally does, making it a little extra challenging. That's okay. All right, so there we go. Everyday life, and a little bit of breathing space, another butterfly, which always is good. And yeah, that's it for another day. A little bit quicker than some of the other prompts. I hope that you find a way to enjoy your everyday life and also to express yourself in your own journals. Until next time, make a great day.